And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show for episode 139, which is BattleCade X8 Part 2. What's up, Jonathan Miller? I see you in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in tonight. What a week it's been, folks. What a week it's been. By the way, thank you for everybody who tuned in live the other night and has even watched the archive of the show that I did the other night. I will address that later. A lot of things to get to later on this show, but first, I am still sick. I've had a really bad cough for like 2 weeks now. So if you hear me sounding like I have marbles in my mouth, it's because I have a cough drop in my mouth. And no, McAllister, we don't need any of your jokes in the chat room on that. I beat you to it, and I know it was coming. I knew it was coming. So yeah, thank you very much to those of you who are joining live as well as in the archive. If you're listening on the archive, we encourage you to listen to us live here every Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the From Pillar to Post YouTube channel. And we encourage you, more importantly, to, before you tune in, to watch CWF Worldwide over at CWFWorldWide.com. I promise everybody, we are going to address the elephant in the room. We're going to address everything that's been going on the last 3 days. It's been a really crazy 3 or 4 days here. It probably was, says McAllister. I told you. That's why you got to tune in live and be in our chat room, because if you're listening to us on the archive, you're not going to see what happens in the chat room. But you can be here live and join into the chat room. We have a CWF crew that's most of the time show up. We have some CWF wrestlers who show up from time to time. The phone lines tonight are going to be open. They're going to be open after I do the review for the episode. And that's what this show is all about, folks. No matter what has been going on, this show is for one purpose, or its sole purpose, I should say, is to give my thoughts on what you've just seen, which is CWF Worldwide episode 139, BattleCade X8 Part 2. The show kicks off with Logan Easton LaRoe taking on Andrew Everett for the PWI Ultra J title. Both of these men have not been seen in the CWF Sportatorium in quite some time. For Logan Easton LaRoe, it has not been since the Weaver Cup, and it has been a lot longer for Andrew Everett. CL Party intros Brian Hughes, and we get a welcome to CWF Worldwide by Brian Hughes. Says he's always wanted to do it. I like Brian, and CL Party put over Brian tonight, but he's not as good as CL Party is. Sorry. Rule number one of this show, for those tuning in new, rule number one of this after show is thou must always put over CL Party. And if you were watching CWF Worldwide tonight, you know why we always put over CL Party. She's awesome. So we get an arm wrench early on by Logan Easton LaRoe. I thought this match was a little flippity flu going on at the beginning, and that was to be expected from these two. People in the chat room saying it was a solid match, and I agree. We get the dive by Andrew Everett, which takes out all of American Lucha Designs' front row VIP seats. Mine was saved, luckily. We get a spring. Basically, what happens is Andrew Everett goes to do a springboard in the match. Logan stops it. Andrew's head bounces off the top rope there in the corner. Just a lot of good wrestling here by these two. A lot of good spots by these two. Logan sucks chant heard. Logan Easton LaRoe is very much hated in the Sportatorium, and I hope we see Logan again. I got to do this here, folks, because I am putting over this episode. But the commentary was good here. Commentary was good. I got to put over the commentary here. It was good storytelling. Good storytelling with both of these two. So talking about how Everett's been to Japan, and he's going back, and why he's been gone for so long. Hope you got your 5 Jupiter facts ready. I got some. I got something ready, but it ain't Jupiter facts. Go back and listen to last week's after show, and you'll get that joke, folks. We get a sunset flip by Drew into a Pele kick, which was phenomenal. It was freaking awesome. A huge cutter by Logan for a 2 count. Drew is selling the arm, Drew selling the shoulder well here. A super kick later on in the match by Logan. Drop kick into the corner. A reverse Rana by Everett on Logan. And I will say this every time I see this move. I don't care if it's done quote-unquote perfectly. I don't care who is doing it. I don't care who's taking it. I don't care how many times you've done it. I don't care how many times you've taken it. I hate this move. It's dangerous as fuck, and somebody's going to end up with a broken neck doing this damn thing. If I never see a reverse Rana again, I'll be a happy guy. The reverse Rana ends up getting into the shooting star off the top by Drew for the win. Your new PWI, Pro Wrestling International Ultra J champion, is Andrew Everett. I was not expecting Andrew Everett to get the win. They were sitting there live. So it was a shock for me to see this. And it makes me wonder, are we going to see him? Maybe we see him defending that title abroad. I mean, you know, when he goes to Japan for something. I doubt it, but it could be nice to actually see that title being defended abroad. Does this mean we'll be seeing more of Andrew Everett in the Sportatorium in the next year? Who knows? I will say that after this, and I'm going to get into a little bit of the controversy here because there's been 2 controversies this week. One of which is Nova Pro Wrestling backing out of PWI, the Pro Wrestling International, the governing body of the Ultra J title. And if you were listening to that show the other night, which if you're listening to this, you probably have, because thank you so much to the near 500 people who've watched and listened to it. The booker of Nova Pro had sent me a DM, which is why you hear me typing. For those sitting there saying, stop typing in the comment section of that. Hey, I'm an interactive guy. If you DM me while the show is going on and it's relevant to the show, I'm going to answer you and tell you thank you, whatever the case may be. If you send something in the chat room, or, you know, if I'm having technical difficulties in the chat room, I'll reply in the chat room. I don't have a producer who helps me do this. I do it myself. So that's one thing out of the way. Another thing, the message that I got from the promoter and booker of Nova Pro was that they withdrew from the PWI over the way that the Ultra J title was handled. It must be you. Turn it up because I'm getting high. Let me check it out here. Volume seems low. Hold on. Who helps me do this? I do it myself. Yeah, it's fine on my end. So it's coming across fine on my end, guys. Jason was controversy. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't call it a controversy. It was just they didn't like the way the Ultra J title was handled. Maybe they felt Logan should have retained. I'll read you the exact message again. I still have it here. Gotta scroll down because, golly. I'll read it again. Nova is out of the PWI because we were unhappy with how they handled the Ultra J title situation after we've helped raise the profile of it over the past 2 years. That's the official statement from them that I got on January 7th. You guys could be the judge of that one. Do I think Andrew Everett should have that title? That's not up to me. Would I have booked it that way? Probably not. But I do think the match was good. I hope we see more of Everett out of this. I like Andrew Everett. I like Andrew Everett's work. But I don't know if I don't know if we'll see him more because he's he's got the stuff in Impact, he's got the stuff in Japan. Who knows? Who knows? And we'll get into more about who knows what's going to happen with the whole entire promotion. We'll get into more about that later. Brad Attitude versus Chet Sterling was next. This was my match of the night as far as BattleCade goes. BattleCade overall. This was my favorite match of BattleCade right here. Wall non-stop freaking action, man. Chet on fire earlier, does a dive. Brad catches him beautifully. The dive looked damn good, and Brad caught him. Yes, I know. It's everybody knows that the guy catches him diving. That's how the move is supposed to work. But more often than not, we don't see people catching dives properly. Hell, Jordan Grace tweeted out a few months ago, and you heard me talk about it here on the channel, that a fan caught a dive better than some wrestlers would at a show recently. Brad Attitude's work in this match was fucking amazing. It stole the show. They brawl into the Kernodle Suite. Brad landing on Dylan Hales a couple times. They mentioned how Papa Hales might take a shot on commentary. Brad body slamming Chet on the floor of the Kernodle Suite. Huge chops by Brad Attitude as they exit the Kernodle Cup, or the Kernodle Suite, excuse me. Good back and forth in the match. We get a makeshift stun gun by Brad Attitude, kind of like a desperation landing Chet on the ropes here. Head scissors in later on in the match by Brad Attitude, using the ropes for leverage. The main reason why I'm calling out the head scissors, because I would like to remind you that this is the same move that CL Party beat Jerry Carey with back at Ultimate Survivor. Jonathan Miller goes, 1-star match, and he is that one. You're damn right. I mean, I'm sorry. That's why he earns the nickname the 1-star. You want to get somebody over, book them against Attitude. That's just the way it is, folks. Get a chin lock later on in the match and by Attitude, and everybody's like, yeah, Attitude's so freaking cocky. He thinks he could beat this guy with a chin lock. It was good commentary tonight. Given everything that's happened, folks, I can't not put over this commentary here. Huge defensive DDT in the match by Chet later on. Nice leg lariat by Chet even later on. Brad selling his ass off here. Another big dive and on another side of the ring, right there in front of the Harris family on the front row. Brad catching him again beautifully. The dive looks sick as shit. Every dive that Chet does looks sick as hell, but it looks cooler when the guy catches him properly. Yes, okay, we know he's catching him, but it gives the dive more impact. It makes the dive look better. It makes the dive look like it fucking hurts. Sorry, it just does. Get a blockbuster by Chet later on. Brad goes for a hammer bomb, but Chet turns it into a Rana. Super kick later on in the match. Finishes come when Brad distracts the ref. Does the old Ric Flair low blow with his foot. Buckle bomb and then a penalty kick for the win at 18 minutes and 54 seconds. I put here, it was 18 minutes and 54 seconds of pure wrestling bliss. If you don't smoke, you're going to need a cigarette after you watch this one, folks. That's how good it is. Nick Richards versus Kane Justice. I'll be honest with you, this one kind of was like, huh? They only went 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but then you watch it on Worldwide and you understand why they went 3 minutes and 10 seconds. This is why if you go there live, you need to watch it on YouTube as well sometimes to get it. Fury right from the start of this match by both guys. A huge German by Kane. Huge chops by Nick. We get a kick to the head by Kane. Then Nick Richards goes for a little ground and pound, which surprised the hell out of me here. Kane reverses the ground and pound. And then Nick Richards does like a hip attack to Kane's head. Both guys selling their ass off here, working their ass off. Kane spits in the face of Richards. We get a cutter. We think he's going to get the cutter, but no. Kane reverses it into a high knee. Love that high knee by Kane. That was not a low blow. He was stretching. I love our chat room. Thank you so much for listening. If you are, get in that chat room. Communicate with the CWF community. Again, later on, Richards goes for another cutter, but Kane gets the arm, goes into the arm bar, and he taps out Nick Richards at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. This was beautiful. I enjoyed this more on YouTube than I did live. I'll say that much. I enjoyed this way more on YouTube than I did live. Yeah, and Kane getting the win here. I have a little story about the match, but given everything that's been going on, I don't know if I should share it because it's something that wasn't meant for the public. Let me just say that I got everything I wanted out of the match. Nick brung it in this match. I feel that Nick was into this match more than, with everything that he should have been. I feel like he had to bring it, and he did. I feel that he had a pretty good feud with some guy last year. Yeah. I feel that there's sometimes that an aura around Nick Richards, and Nick Richards will even say this himself sometimes, that he's not as confident, and he's paranoid, and he gets out of his own head sometimes. He was in there tonight. He was in there. He brung it. He did what he needed to do. And I'm even more excited for after the match. And if they go through with this, which I hope they do, it's going to be crazy because for the last few weeks on Worldwide, we've been seeing the tag team of Michael McAllister and Nick Richards, kind of this thrown together tag team. Two quote-unquote crazy people, if you will, getting forced to team together over and over and over again. So after the match, what happens? William Cross comes out and Michael McAllister also comes out. They're both dressed alike with the blue jeans, the black blazers, looking very together, looking like a manager wrestler, pairing for the first time since they've been together. And they come to Nick Richards' aid. They help him up. He didn't do what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do for the match and story, and just as far as the work of the match itself is what I meant. I didn't mean from a storyline perspective. But they help Nick up afterwards. McAllister and William Cross do, and McAllister says, "Come on, man, you got to join us. You got to trust him. You got to trust him." Pointing at William Cross. I like it. I love this. I hope those two team up way more. And I hope whatever this stable is that they've been slowly building up with William Cross, maybe it's not a stable. Maybe Cross just, has these two as a tag team. Maybe he's there, I don't know. Maybe he's like their Jimmy Hart or whatever, Sorry, guys. So, I mean, it's a good pairing, these two. It really is. Maybe he's here, somebody just DM me. Maybe William Cross is McAllister's Paul Ellering. Can't talk tonight, guys. Sorry. Is Jeff Edwards calling in tonight, the Electric City Saint? No, he's not. Jeff Edwards has been to the doctor. He is not feeling well. So he took a rain check, though. He took a rain check, so maybe we'll see him on a recent episode or the next episode. But Jeff Edwards is not calling in tonight, sadly. I wish he was, but I fully understand that he's sick. Chronic migraines and coughing and everything. So we wish Jeff Edwards well. We hope you feel better, buddy, and we hope to get you on the after show here in the next couple weeks. We had C.W. Anderson versus Rick Converse. C.W. Anderson, of course, putting up the title, the PWI heavyweight title. Rick Converse putting up his career, and it's an I Quit match. Converse here wearing short trunks instead of the usual long pants that he normally wears. In this match here, I wrote a bunch of stuff down here on here. You know, the chair spots were creative. We got a sliding D by C.W. Anderson. A reverse armbar by C.W. Anderson here. I like that. The chair shots were creative. They were hard hitting. That one spot where he's got Rick's got Converse's head trapped in the chair, and Converse hits it with another chair. It was just awesome. It was like almost a concerto, if it will be. Maybe with a tag partner, he can last more than 3 minutes before quitting. Oh man, I don't know. I'm hoping in 2018 we see the revival of the Kamikaze Kid Nick Richards feud. They went at it in the Rumble. Maybe we'll get a full match out of them in 2018. Fingers crossed. I would have liked to see, we're going back to the I Quit match here. I would have liked to see more on the mic between these two. Like when Robbie Walsh puts that microphone up to C.W. Anderson's face, I would like to hear C.W. Anderson say something like, kiss my ass, or go to hell, or whatever. You know? I kind of like hardcore Nick. I miss heel Nick Richards, to tell you the truth. I miss Nick being a heel. I miss Nick cutting a fucking kick-ass promo. Although in the build to the match he had with Kane at BattleCade, he did cut a good promo. I wish they would give Nick the stick more. Nick the stick. Ugh. Anyway. I put here, when Converse gave the atomic drop to C.W. Anderson on the chair, crotched him on the chair, it looked wicked. We got some Polish hammers by Converse. Those Polish hammer punches look crazy, man. Then we get a table brought in later in the match. C.W. Anderson sits Rick Converse down in the chair, and it ends in a semi, kind of like Rick threw a spine buster of his own and put C.W. through the table. Converse then gets a chain out and cross faces C.W. Anderson with the chain, but C.W. is not giving up. Later on, we get a nice shotgun super kick by C.W. Anderson. Is it fair for me to say that C.W. Anderson throws one of the best super kicks in the business? Nah, Kazi's old as fuck. Nice to see you, Wrestling God. It really is. I mean it. It's nice to see you in the chat room tonight. To close the match, we got a bottle to the head by Converse as he's being choked with the chain by CW. Converse cracks CW over the head with this bottle. I can tell you live, this looked amazing. Glass, quote unquote, glass flew everywhere. I wish they would have went to the wide shot here. The crow's nest shot, because that damn bottle, when it broke, it went fucking everywhere. It was amazing. And then he gets the barbed wire, and they're playing, finally, they're playing tug of war with it, kind of, and then finally it gets put down on CW's head, and he's grinding it into CW's head as they're laying down. CW Anderson quits at 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Your new PWI heavyweight champion is Rick Converse. And that closed out the show. 2 titles changing hands on this episode here. And 2 grudge matches that were really freaking good. I mean, a lot of people were saying Joe's lying. What the hell? He should be here. So I'm going to go ahead and this episode, a lot of people are saying this was the best hour of BattleCade that you'll see. I tend to agree. So yeah, I mean, it was just a damn fine episode. Really good episode here. So here's what I'm going to do. It's time to address the elephant in the room, folks. I don't like doing this, man. I really don't like doing this. But I'm going to do it anyway. Damn, my cup is empty. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Before we address the elephant in the room, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Take about 10 minutes. And then we'll open up the phone lines if you wish to call in. And, yeah, we're going to take a quick break here. Play some commercials, some old school commercials for you. And we'll come back and talk. We got a lot to talk about tonight because at the top of Worldwide, Bruce Mitchell dropped a little column on pwtorch.com. I'm going to give you a little bit of time here. If you don't want to sit through the commercials, you got 12 minutes. Go do a little speed reading. If you go to pwtorch.com right now, pwtorch.com, yes, I'm plugging a quote-unquote dirt sheet, and you scroll down to where it says all latest PW Torch articles. It's the second one. It's the one under the NXT report. 10 minutes, I'm going to sleep. Don't go to sleep on me yet. I know you're in there with the 151, but don't go to sleep on me yet. Go read Bruce Mitchell's article. It deserves a... we're going to read a couple excerpts from it, but it definitely deserves a full read by you guys. I promised Bruce. I got permission from Bruce to read a couple excerpts. He's the senior columnist for the PW Torch. He's a CWF regular. He's one of the guys that got me into CWF. We can rewatch Kane's match 3 times. Oh, shit. I don't know if that's good or... Is that an insult? Holy shit. That's pretty damn good, John. But I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with me. We'll be right back.
Stick with me, gang. I'm just getting warmed up.
Earth's first line of defense has a breakthrough in space technology, Magnalock. It defies the law of gravity. Activate STARCOM equipment. Control STARCOM weapons. Figures and vehicles each sold separately. Magnalock, a mighty power for STARCOM. A deadly threat in the hands of the Shadow Force. Who will survive? STARCOM!
Lucky's cornered. We'll get his Lucky Charms this time.
Time? That's it. I'll make a time tunnel and go back in time with me Lucky Charms. The crunchy old cereal with a rainbow of marshmallow surprises. Pink hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers, blue diamonds, and purple horseshoes. Time sure fly. Yikes! Ouch! 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 Guess the time ran out. Frosted Lucky Charms, a historic part of this nutritious breakfast.
Ooga mega liga diga.
Ertl's farm machinery is so realistic, it'll really get your imagination growing. The Ertl Mighty Movers are so realistic, they'll fill your days with fun. Ertl's F-15 fighter jets are so realistic, they'll really lift your imagination off the ground.
Ertl, just like the real thing, only smaller. Silverhawks, partly metal, partly real, mighty warriors with the powers to protect space from all evil.
It's me, Evil Monstar.
Figures and attack birds sold separately. Monstar and Sky Shadow attack the Silverhawks.
Flashback, prepare for battle.
Sky Shadow grabs him and sucks him in, but then Stronghold flies to the rescue.
Activate Saberjaws.
Flashback escapes and the fight rages on.
Bombs away. Where'd he go?
Ha, gotcha.
Not yet.
Stronghold and Steel will. Sky Shadow and I will not be beaten.
Want to bet?
Silverhawks.
Now back to Heathcliff.
Every weekday, you can get wild with the hilarious madcap cat and mouse capers of Tom and Jerry. Join the chase as Tom searches for the perfect way to build a better mousetrap for his furry friend, Jerry. It's thrills and spills when this dynamic duo takes off for the funniest animal antics. And they'll always leave you howling for more. So have some fun with the witty kitty and the mouse with the most. Tom and Jerry, weekday mornings at 7:30 and afternoons at 2:30 only on Channel 13.
Hey, look! The troll stole all the marshmallows out of S'mores Crunch cereal. Oh, no! We need the sorcerer.
I'll get the marshmallows back and make them even better.
Wow! Star marshmallows.
Something new in S'mores Crunch with chocolatey grahams, a magical part of this nutritious breakfast.
Want s'more? Hey!
Oh, no.
S'mores Crunch cereal with new marshmallow stars.
Hi, my name is Roland, and these are fruit wrinkles. They're very small, but they taste like a whole bunch of fruit in your mouth. And these are fruit roll-ups. They're big and flat, and you can twist them and tear them. Whoa! With real fruit, that would be very messy. But fruit roll-ups and fruit wrinkles are made with real fruit. Right, Mom?
Right, Roland.
I like them because when they put in the fruit, they put in the fun, too.
Battle Beast Wood! Fire! Fire burns wood! Battle Beast Fire! Water! Water puts out fire! Battle Beast Water! Wood! Wood beats water! Battle Beast collect every one of these incredible creatures to battle for fire. Just activate their battle badges.
I got fire! I got water! Water beats fire!
Battle Beast can grow into an army. Collect all 84. Battle Beast.
This is the part I've been waiting for.
Some news hound I am, Toucan. Not a story all morning.
Really?
I even missed breakfast.
Your nose for news can't find a scoop? Let mine report on more flavor of fruit.
More fruit flavor? Hey, that's a great lead.
Then nose.
Follow nose.
The Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal. Now made with more natural fruit flavoring. It's part of this complete breakfast.
More natural fruit flavor? What a story. Best news I've heard all day.
Another bowl, then?
Sure. Extra, extra.
The legend of He-Man continues in the Masters of the Universe movie with Blade, the slashing blaze of terror. With Sauron, Skeletor's evil lieutenant with a mouthful of lightning. Can they catch Gwildor before his cosmic key enables him to escape? Now, you can live the adventure with Sauron, Gwildor, and Blade.
I've waited a long time for this.
Figures sold separately from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Rodimus, quick! There's been an accident. The new Autobots are monster bots.
They're monsters, all right.
Decepticons.
Monster bots, attack! I'm glad those monsters are on our side.
The Transformers. Much more than meets the eye.
And they've even got sparks blasting out of them.
You can't stop the monster bots.
The Transformers.
The Transformers Monster Bots, sold separately from Hasbro.
Yeah, we'll do lunch. Oh, the interviews, the fan mail, this take. Who am I kidding? I love it.
It's that witty star from Melmac, and he's all yours. New wisecracking Alf. He's a party alien.
Let's go check out the fridge.
Yeah.
He's loaded with charm.
How about a hug for the old Alfer?
He'll make you feel 3 feet tall.
Hey, give me 4.
Right.
It's wisecracking Alf. Push his belly and he talks. New from Coleco.
Back to Heathcliff and me, Riff Raff.
Channel 13 KCOP, Los Angeles. LA's #1 kids station. Watch Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, The Smurfs, The Jetsons, She-Ra, and all your favorites when you join the adventure weekday afternoons on Channel 13.
Just wait till you see what I do next.
Supernatural! Now you can join the battle between brave Lionheart and evil Skull and their eerie ghostlings.
Lion, you're dying. Now, Master.
They change to fight with ghostly might. Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful creatures.
Now, the lion in me is free. Take this.
Supernaturals. Lionheart, Skull, and Ghostling sold separately. New from Tonka.
Yeah, this is Traffic Copter 1. Looks like Ice Cream Jones is in trouble.
No ice cream cone cereal?
My name's Ice Cream Jones. I'm going to deliver my ice cream cones. A crispy, crunchy cereal for breakfast with the great taste of ice cream cones. Little cones and puffs that taste like chocolate chip ice cream cones.
Or vanilla.
A crunchy part of this nutritious breakfast. Thanks for the help with the ice cream cones.
That's Ice Cream Cones cereal.
Popeye! Popeye! Here come those kids!
I got to remember which makes me tough enough to resist Cocoa Puffs, a chocolatey part of this complete breakfast.
Popeye, watch out!
I remembers. It's give me spinach. Disco makes me tough.
Popeye! Want some munchy? Crunchy? Chocolatey Cocoa Puffs?
Who's Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs?
Nobody's tough enough to resist Cocoa Puffs.
Even with me spinach.
Why I Like Chuck E. Cheese by Jennifer Marie Adams. Chuck E. Cheese is where kids of all ages can have fun with rides, games, shows, and pizza. If you're a kid, I highly recommend you go. You could even bring your little brother.
You got it right, it's time for fun. And Chuck E. Cheese is the number one. You can dance, you can play, you can do it your way. Chuck E. Cheese, where kids can be a kid.
This is the part I've been waiting for.
KCOP TV and Mike Chamberlain were recently honored with the prestigious Golden Mike Award.
We were given this award for our Sports Star of the Week series. It runs every Monday night on News 13, and I'd like to share the award with all of you because you, the viewers of Channel 13, nominated each of our Sports Stars of the Week. It's also a good time to remind you that now is the time to nominate someone you know for 1987. And I'll be handing out the Sports Star uniform every Monday night, but if it's okay with you, I'll keep the trophy.
Man, they're fast, Tony. We'll never beat that time.
We'll be on track after this complete breakfast, including my vitamin-packed Frosted Flakes. They bring out the tiger in you.
Beat that if you're any good.
Frosted Flakes, good. They're great.
You'll show them you're a tiger.
Go, Tiger.
Show them what you can do. The taste of Tony's Frosted Flakes.
A new record!
We got the tiger in you.
And you.
Hell yeah, we had ice cream cereal back in the day. Ice Cream Jones, man. I was like 3 years old when that commercial was out, or 2 years old when that commercial was out, but I still remember eating the ice cream cereal because that stuff was actually pretty darn good. Back when cereals were filled with chemicals and dyes and artificial flavors. It was great. It was great. So now it's time to the show for the part of the show that I was kind of regretting. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines here in just a minute. So, as many of you know, oh no, you're going to hear me typing again. As many of you know, the lead commentator for CWF as well as the booker for CWF, Brad Stutts, was fired this past Saturday after the Rising Generation League show had happened. A Rising Generation show in which, spoiler alert, Cool J captured the Rising Generation League title. Not a knock on Cool J, but I'm a little bit ticked off that they took the belt off Mike Mars just 1 week after him winning it. especially seeing as how I championed for 2 months for his ass to win it. Bruce Mitchell, again, wrote a column on pwtorch.com. Again, I encourage you to go read this article. Please go read this article. I'm going to read a couple excerpts from it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If Bruce is listening to this, I'm probably going to read more than he wants me to read, so I do apologize ahead of time, Bruce. But I'm telling everybody, please, please, please give pwtorch.com the traffic. John, what do you find hilarious? The commercials or the whole? He finds those. Okay, it's not about you. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read this here. I'm going to pick this up after he talks about BattleCade. A week later, January 6th, CWF Mid-Atlantic ran their regular Rising Generation League show in front of a crowd in the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville, North Carolina. The night ended, and this is no storyline, with CWF owner Jeff Rudd confronting and firing longtime CWF booker Brad Stutts over what the company had termed inappropriate behavior related to his business and personal relationship with Charlie Hartman, or Charlie Armstrong, and his company Gimmick Tree Entertainment. It was a shocking ending to Stutts' 15 years in the company. He goes on in this article to talk a little bit about Gimmick Tree Entertainment. For those of you who are not in the know about Gimmick Tree Entertainment, again, pwtorch.com. Check out this beautiful, I won't say beautiful, but it's a brilliantly written column. He goes on, Brad Stutts not only worked for CWF, he picked up piecemeal work from other wrestling companies around the area on weekend off dates. More and more often, though, he was working for Hartman. They began traveling around the country on wrestling trips, like the trek they took to New Orleans to buy the first WrestleMania tickets on sale. If you would have known, Brad championed that on his Twitter a couple months ago. What else were they doing? Partying and such at low-end strip clubs, which would become an issue in Stutts' firing. Bruce goes on here to talk. When I first attended my first modern vintage wrestling show in Gibsonville several months ago, it was like being at another CWF show. Trevor Lee was in the main event. Stutzy was on the play-by-play. The difference was there were fewer fans, and both Tommy Dreamer and Michael Elgin were flown in for the show. Even with another show that weekend in Fayetteville helping to lower travel expenses, the show didn't seem to make financial sense to me, says Bruce. Then he goes on to talk about how Hartman seemed like pretty much a guy you would meet at a Ring of Honor house show, and turns out, though, there was more to Hartman than most money mark promoters. Hartman, who is 34, had been in and out of jail since he was 19 years old on charges like fraud, burglary, assault, organized fraud, identity theft, and outstanding warrants. He was once sentenced to 7 years and served 4 in jail. Gibsonville, North Carolina is a small town in conservative Alamance County. CWF owners Jeff Rudd and Danny Winkle were suspicious of Hartman, and both of Stutts' inconsistent claims about his work with Gimmick Tree and the decline in his CWF work. CWF is a small business. Stutts wasn't making much money, and Hartman had plenty of cash. In fact, he paid for everything on their wrestling road trips with cash or prepaid money cards. This, again, if you're just tuning in, it's coming from Bruce Mitchell's column up on pwtorch.com. Check it out. It's a great link. It's a well-written article here. Stutts turned up for one night's show with a booking sheet he had finished at 4 a.m. that morning. That precipitated Rudd and other CWF creative team members to have to write a completely different show before Stutts arrived. There were bad feelings about that. So, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, how much of this is rumor and how much of this is truth. I was on Twitter all day talking with Sophia Moon. And I was kind of skeptical of what, we were kind of, Bruce Mitchell had put that something was coming out there on his Twitter page. And so I've been anticipating this article all day long. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way Bruce is just going to come out with it. And he's kind of doing it here, folks. Again, I encourage you to go read this. There was, and the article goes on, then there was Stutts' inappropriate behavior with a CWF. Man, this is hard to read, guys. This is hard to read, but I'm going to get through it. Then there was Stutts' quote-unquote inappropriate behavior with a CWF employee. Anyone who's hung around with the guy knows the phrase, just Brad being Brad, and his wife Katie's sly smile. I don't think you need to add that part in there about Katie, but okay. He's a big personality guy, and he loves women. What man? Never mind. Hey, I love women too. But the article then goes on to say his proposing that a CWF employee engage in sexual activity for money, something she turned down and something Stutts has subsequently admitted, if hazy on details, was another thing entirely. CWF folks, like many independent wrestling troops, are close-knit, both professionally and socially, and it didn't take long for the word on this incident to spread. Rumors circulated throughout the CWF community, partly driven by Stutts' foolish action, that Armstrong generated all that cash he had from the infamous Women Seeking Men section of Backpage. I don't mean to laugh at it, but really? You use Backpage, dude? I'm talking about Armstrong there, not Stutts. And that he and Stutts were also recruiting in those dive strip clubs. Stutts says he never saw Hartman engage in anything like this, but at the very least, and again, Stutts has admitted this, he was blinded by the money and women Hartman had around him. Wow. CWF owners understandably were concerned that Stutts, at the very least turning a blind eye to Hartman's business practices, were putting them and their company's reputation at severe risks. That Hartman might be laundering money for illegal activities through his wrestling companies, and that local police might very well be aware of Hartman's criminal record or potential activities was an obvious concern among those I've talked to for this story. Hartman has never been charged with anything locally, but rumors were everywhere. No, it's not. For those in the chat room asking what the name of the website, it's Backpage. It's basically like a seedy Craigslist. Even more seedier than Craigslist. In the most severe scenario, the local headlines would read, local wrestling company personality charged. Rudd and Winkle, not to mention everyone else associated with the company, many who grew up in Alamance County, would be painted with the same suspicions. Basically what Bruce is saying here is that if this guy gets brought up on charges for something, it paints a black eye for everybody in the community. Regardless of whether or not they work at Gimmick Tree or not, it puts a black eye on the business in North Carolina. It does. When CWF obtained a copy of Hartman's criminal record, they were shocked at what they found. It was a rap sheet that was 57 pages long. This guy has a rap sheet 57 pages long, folks. The article reads here, the reality of the extensive charges outstripped the rumors. They felt that Stutts had let a criminal into their locker room. Rudd wasn't the only one furious with Stutts. Trevor Lee lit into him that Saturday night, which was last Saturday, saying that he had put a company he and a lot of other people built for 18 years at risk. Lee has built a big match championship resume with CWF, and he didn't just do it for his home promotion to be stained with this, or even shut down. There were a lot of shocked, heartbroken CWF associates that night, and some relieved ones. There was a lot of relieved ones. And, of course, Bruce goes on to say that, which we already know, all the CWF wrestlers who were booked on the 20th Modern Vintage Wrestling show dropped out. And the show was canceled. He goes on to say what I'm going to I'm going to go on and read the another excerpt here, and I full well agree with this. CWF will be fine. Trevor Lee, who Stutts has said has a genius for putting together matches, booked his own main event program the last 2 years and is expected to continue to do so. Eric Royal, Chet Sterling, Roy Wilkins, Snooty Fox, Ethan Sharp, Kane Justice, Aaron Biggs, Rick Converse, Eric Andrews, C.L. Party, and the Dawson brothers comprise a strong talent base who are over with the local CWF fans. And not just over with local fans. They're over worldwide now. Cecil Miller is ready to take over the play-by-play on the weekly CWF Worldwide YouTube show. And I look forward to hearing him personally myself. Brad Stutts, who felt Saturday night that he was railroaded out of a company to which he devoted much talent and energy, had what he calls a moment of clarity Sunday about the type of person he wants to be and how much he has lost his way. He knows CWF did the right thing by firing him, and that he has severed his own ties with Charlie Hartman and Gimmick Tree Entertainment. For the first time in his adult life, Stutts has decided to step away from the pro wrestling business and devote himself to his marriage, his family, and his friends, and to explore life outside of his bubble. He wants to be the man his parents raised him to be. He's decided to be accountable for what he did and is remorseful about it. He's talking the talk. Now it's time for him to walk the walk. Again, a very brilliantly written column by Bruce Mitchell of The Torch. It's up right now on pwtorch.com. Take a read for yourself, folks. Man. It's a lot to process. Sounds to me that Brad just got hung up with the wrong kind of people. I'm going to get a little bit of personal with you for a second. I have a brother. He's about 13 months younger than me. And when he was younger, about 13, 14 years old, we had a next-door neighbor move in where we used to live at in Virginia here. And this next-door neighbor was about 10 years older than us. The next-door neighbor introduced my brother to drugs, introduced my brother to alcohol, and that started a downward spiral in my brother's life that continues to this day. I don't blame the person who introduced him to it as much as I do my brother himself. Because once you get into that situation, it's either one of two things happen. Either you wake up for yourself and see the error of your ways and see that you got to make a change and that you got to stop hanging around the wrong people and that you got to learn to hang out with a better class of losers, as the old country song says. Again, the reason why I say better class of losers, because none of us are perfect, folks. None of us are perfect. You know, you look out in Hollywood today and all the crap that's happening out there and the entertainment business, and you'll wonder how many people who are pointing fingers and naming names, what kind of skeletons they have in their own closet. Nobody's perfect, guys. So you either got to come to it yourself that, hey, I need to hang out with a better class of losers. This ain't right. I got to stop living this way. I got a family to think about. I got a wife to think about. I got kids to think about in some people's situations. I got a business to think about. Or you hit rock bottom. reality comes smacking you in the face, and finally it gets to the point where you can't run, no more lies can be told, and you're forced to come clean and tell the truth. And I think that's what happened to Brad Stutts here a little bit. My brother, to this day, is still not clean. My brother, you name the drug, my brother's probably done it and continues to do it. To the point where I've had to wash my hands of my own flesh and blood. I don't talk to my brother. I don't speak to my brother. I did see him at a family get-together on New Year's Day, and I barely said 2 words to the guy. The CWF family had to do their same to Brad Stutts, and it's understandable. Now, Brad himself, am I glad that Brad is kind of working on that rebuilding in this situation? Yes. Kudos to, I'll go ahead and say it. Kudos to Brad Stutts for stepping away. Kudos to him for leaving the business. Kudos to him for not saying anything on social media. McAllister says here, well, I'm not going to repeat that here. If you're in the chat room and see that, make your own conclusions. The point of all this is, folks, it's not about, you know, I listened to the Katie Vick is Alive podcast today. That's a hell of a name, by the way. Got to put him over for that. I'll admit I never listened to the podcast till today. I'm glad I did. Thanks to Bruce Mitchell for linking me to it. And those 2 guys, one of them, I believe, lives near the Sportatorium. He knows Brad. Go listen to that podcast, folks. To say that this was not sexual harassment, well, Bruce, you know, cites something of that here. I will say this, it's not as, I'm not trying to put over Brad here in any way, but it could have been a lot worse. I mean, that's not saying anything about the woman here who was propositioned, which is fucking wrong. And whoever this person is, my heart goes out to you. But with everything going on out in Hollywood, you know, shit. This podcast said Brad is a good guy. I have no doubt in my heart that, like, again, this is just it sounds like this is an incident where Brad, you know, and I don't know in the way that Bruce is pitching this, I don't know if and I'm not going to speculate here. I don't know if the inappropriate deal that happened with a CWF staff member happened before the Gimmick Tree Entertainment guy walked into Brad's life or not. It's not my business to know. In fact, I was telling Sophia Moon earlier today on Twitter, I said, I don't know if I want to know fully what happened. I don't know if it's any of our business to know what happened. It's out there now, it sounds like. I mean, we'll never know full details, and we don't need to know full details of what happened. We don't need to know. It's none of our business. Hell, CWF Mid-Atlantic is the last promotion that I figured would be talked about this way on PW Insider or PW Torch or any other wrestling news website. Hell, Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret posted a video on his channel last night or the night before talking about it. He was doing a quote-unquote news segment for Powerbomb TV, and this was the first thing mentioned. I never expected CWF to be caught up in this controversy. But is Brad a good guy? I'll be honest with you here. I'm confused by the whole damn thing. I'm still in a state of shock 4 days later. The guy, and I'll agree with the podcast here, they say that he could work again in the business. It's going to be a long time. Trust has to be built again. Do you trust a guy after something like this? The first thing that needs to happen is this Gimmick Tree Entertainment guy needs to be ran out of fucking town on a rail. Never to be heard from again in this business. Never. Guy sitting there gotten accused of writing bad checks from what I heard. Guy sounds like the sleaziest of sleaze, folks, and that just doesn't have a place in the CWF community at all. The Katie Vick is Alive podcast, and I agree with them on this. They said that their hearts go out to Grant Sawyer. And Grant, if you're listening, sir, my heart goes out to you, man, because this podcast was right. Stutts and Grant, Brad Stutts and Grant Sawyer were like Batman and Robin, man. And Grant, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing okay, pal. I really do. And if you're coming to the show this Saturday, I look forward to seeing you, man. Thank you for wishing me happy birthday yesterday. You didn't have to do that. Thank you to everybody, actually, in the CWF community that wished me happy birthday, but Grant especially, because he didn't have to freaking do that, man. They said not on this podcast. A couple things I took away from this podcast. It was really good here. Not seeing Stutzy at the next show. It's. I'll admit, even after everything that came out in this column, it's going to be weird not seeing Brad doing commentary or hearing him doing commentary. The next episode of Worldwide is the last show, unless is the last show that he'll do commentary for. And yes, even given what's happened, that's a weird thing to me. The podcast hosts talk about one of them being turned away from BattleCade, and the other one says, do you think they need a bigger building? Talking about East Guilford High School, a gym at Elon University. Let me tell you something, guys. There's a reason why they don't build a bigger building. They had bigger buildings, and they got the smaller building because they realized that they needed a smaller building. Should they have BattleCade at a bigger show, like a bigger arena somewhere? No. Should they find a building bigger than what they have now? Not yet. Prime example. We had the Rumble back in October. FanCon. It was beautiful. I hope they do it this year. Packed house. Very packed house. Not as packed as BattleCade, but you're close. 2 weeks later, they have another show. I don't even think there was 100 people there. And that's not CWF's fault. It's called everybody spent their money and time and everything going to the Rumble. It's hard to run every 2 weeks and try to draw. The point is, right now, they don't need a bigger building. So getting East Guilford High School or a gym at Elon, no. No. Another reason why is because that building, and I've said this time and time again, that building, that sportatorium is a character in of itself. You take them out of that building right now, or even if it's just BattleCade, even if you're trying to draw BattleCade, because yes, nobody, it's a double-edged sword to have to turn people away. It gives you bragging rights of, hey, we had to turn fucking people away, man. We had them packed to the rafters, packing them in like cordwood. A good fart would have given you a concussion in the building that. But it's a bad thing when you got to turn people away because you got people like Jeff and Danny going, that's $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. We heard 50 people got turned away. 50 people got turned away, I think is what it was. That's $500 that you're not getting because your building's not big enough. So in their mind, yeah, they would have loved to put them people in their standing room only. Hell, I think they did it last year for BattleCade 17. People were standing in the damn, where the Chronodal suite is. People were standing there. That was standing room only. So I don't know. It's, this podcast is not the first person to bring up, hell, I've even said maybe they should get somewhere bigger to run. But then, and I said that very early on in my fandom for this promotion. But now I realize, nah, man, you can't get rid of that building. That building's a character in and of itself. A lot of time, money, and effort has already been went into making that building look like it does on TV. You're telling me that you want them to pack up and go do that for one, even if it's one show of the year, even if it's a BattleCade, you put this in a gym? Yeah, I'm sorry. No offense to CWF. I do this show because I love the promotion. It's not going to look the same. They're not going to draw the same. It's going to look empty as fuck if you put it in a gym. Another thing I need to address is my role in all this, because I did do that show on Sunday evening. And I found out about all this Sunday morning in a way that got me a little bit of heat. But that heat's been extinguished. And then I get, I get a DM from a certain person last night saying, "Hey, are you going around telling everybody that I was the reason, I told you the reason that somebody, that got Stutts fired?" No. I didn't know the reason. And to tell the truth, it's still inappropriate behavior. We really don't know exactly, with the strip clubs and the back page stuff and the different women and everything. That's as much as we know. Do we need to know any more? No. Do I want to know any more? No. Has anybody up until this article that Bruce wrote came out and said the exact reason to me why Brad Stutts got fired? No. I've maintained this. I'll say it again. I know nothing more than any other fucking fan in this. And for somebody to come up and make rumors, and for people to go out there and say, and this was the thing, that stupid YouTube account of this person, I'm not even going to name them, but there's a certain YouTube account that is a troll out there going, Well, Trevor Lee is out there sleeping with different women when he's out there on the road. Whoever is behind that troll as fuck YouTube account, you're disgusting. A lot of people have been hurt by this shit already. You don't need to walk around trying to hurt more. You're disgusting. And it pisses me off when I see shit like that. They addressed Eric Andrews coming out on Twitter on this Katie Vick is Alive podcast, getting back to them. They addressed Eric Andrews coming out, talking about how, you know, it's not just Brad. Brad wasn't responsible for everything. Phone lines are open, by the way. 434-710-4900 if you wish to call in. Let me tell you something here. I stayed up, I think, Sunday night till 2 a.m. talking to Eric Andrews, and I don't think he would mind saying that because I like me some Eric Andrews. Eric Andrews is awesome. I think what Eric meant by all that, and they addressed that on this podcast. I believe a lot when this came out Sunday that a lot of the CWF, not the hardcore CWF community, but a lot of people were like, well, fuck, now that he's gone, the promotion's going to turn to shit. Now that he's gone, the promotion ain't going to be what it used to be. And I think the message that Eric Andrews was trying to get out was that, yes, he was a good booker. That's right. Stand up for your golden boy. Anyway. I think the message is, yeah, Brad, and I think the message of the locker room is pretty much Brad. Yes, Brad was a good booker. He had a great mind for the business, and this podcast even puts Brad over, saying he had a genius mind for the podcast, for the business. Go listen to the Katie Vick is Alive podcast that they put out there, because it's very telling. They tell a lot about the behind the scenes stuff on Brad, for quite frankly, how Brad got his start in the business and stuff. But what Eric Andrews, I think, was trying to convey is that it's one thing to come up with ideas, but you need a good wrestler. You need good, you know, it's I hate to compare wrestlers to actors, but it's kind of like, you know, you need good actors, you need good workers, you need good talent to bring your idea to life. I could scribble out booking ideas all fucking day, but if I don't have the right workers to go in there and turn and put paper to reality, my paper is about as, you know, might as well use it to wipe my ass with. And I think that's the message that Eric Andrews was trying to convey on Twitter, and I think that's the message he was trying to convey on Sunday when I did that show. And you know what? He's absolutely right. And even the podcast guys, you know, one of the guys goes, well, he had been getting, you know, now the promotion's fucked and you're nothing without him for like 24 hours prior to him making that statement. And maybe he was. I never saw signs of it on Twitter, and I'm happy to say that I never said that. And for those thinking this is me bashing Brad Stutts, it's not. I think Brad's doing the right thing as far as, you know, what rehabilitation. He wants to rehabilitate the trust, I think. I can't speak for the guy, but I can only assume that if I were in this situation, I would probably do the exact same thing. I'd take a break from it all. I'd wipe my name clean try to wipe my name clean. I'd try to take a couple, you know, maybe a year. Hell, it may take a number of years to wash off the dirt. You need to find a better class of losers, and that's what sounds like what Brad's doing. Go spend some time with your family. There was a time in this business where, you know, like I said, I've been podcasting. This year is my 13th year. And there was a time where for about 2 years I didn't release shit. I was dormant. Because I was spending time with my family and I was making money and I hadn't thought about doing this. I was having too much fun with my family and, you know. Again, a great article written by Bruce Mitchell of The Torch. It's a really good article. I highly advise you guys to go read it if you haven't already. Now, again, phone lines are open, 434-710-4900. If you want to call in, give your opinion on this situation, give your opinion on the Worldwide episode 139 that we just watched, please feel free to do so. Again, 434-710-4900. And I want to thank Eric Andrews for calling in the other night. I didn't expect that, to tell you the truth. So, as a CWF community, we need to let this go, I think. I think this is the end of it unless more crap comes out. I don't think I want to know more, quite frankly. Quite frankly, if I was promoting CWF, I'd try to make this go away as quietly as possible. Okay, it's out there. To all you talent, to everybody in this locker room, anybody who has any affiliation with the promotion, just shut your mouths and let it go. I guarantee you that's what I would say. Don't sensationalize it. The dirt sheets are going to do that for us. And you know what? CWF is dusting themselves off. CWF is getting back up. And CWF Mid-Atlantic is running a show this Saturday in Gibsonville, North Carolina at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium. It's called New Year's Knockout 2018. You can get your tickets for this event now at CWFtickets.com. Tickets for general admission are just $10. Got some breaking news here. I just looked on their website. What a great name for a freaking event. 1 month from today, February 10th, at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium, CWF is presenting an event called CWF Strong. What a good name for a damn thing. Is the Chapel Hill show still on? I'm not seeing tickets for that up on their website. Somebody from CWF, if you're in the chat room, let me know. But again, this Saturday, the 13th of January, at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville, North Carolina, New Year's Knockout 2018. There have been some matches for that, but will those matches go on as booked? We don't know. Who's gonna? A lot of people are going. Who has the book now? I don't know. Is it any of our business who has that damn book now? I don't know. Do they want it to get out? Who has the book now? Don't know. You know what I do know? Is that CWF is going to live on. Despite this hiccup. And that's what it is. It's a hiccup, folks. It's not some big scandal. It's not something that's going to live in infamy and CWF lore. It's nothing like that. It's you know what? Show up Saturday. Support the promotion. Support the talent that go out there and bust their ass for you each and every show. I got a lot of questions going, why did you go to the promoter with her? Why did you go to the office with this and stooge off your source? Could have been worse. I could have put it out, to a certain extent, I did keep my mouth shut. In fact, after what went down with me and a couple other parties involved, I even said that I was going to be silent on Twitter, and I pretty much was the rest of the fucking day. I didn't say a damn word until CWF put it out officially. Because I would never freaking run to a dirt sheet or anywhere else like that because I love this freaking promotion and I love the wrestlers that work for it. So anybody sitting there going, why did you stooge shit off? Why did you say you had a source and then gave up that? Fuck you. That's all I got to say to people like that. Anyway, I'm going to go over the matches that are quote-unquote advertised for this show on Saturday. We'll see if they take place. It's going to be an interesting show because that's another thing I want to get to. We now need to be excited. This is a new era. This is a new era for CWF. Some are saying it's sink or swim for CWF now. I tend to agree with them. They got to come out strong, man, after this. Hell, their next event's not called CWF Strong for nothing. But are there any more 80s commercials? I'll play some at the end. So, announced for this card right now, card subject to change. If there was ever more a situation where that statement is true, it's this Saturday. And to be honest, let me ask the people in the chat room, is it wrong that I'm excited about this? Is it wrong that I'm excited for this Mao 5 Jones. I don't get what that emoji is, but it popped up with a little girl raising her hand. So announced for the New Year's Knockout 2018, a rivalry continues as Eric Andrews takes on Cam Carter. That ought to be freaking amazing. Eric Royal defends his television championship versus a randomly drawn opponent. And I want to say that's all that they have announced. Yeah, I think that's all that they have announced. Well, Ethan Alexander Sharp versus Chet Sterling. That's going to be freaking amazing. If that they better keep that one. Oh man. Jesse Adler versus Kane Justice is supposed to be taking place this Saturday. And that's all the 4 matches that they have announced so far. It was high, but got emoted somehow. Oh, pronounced Mouse Jones. Okay. Thank you, Mouse. Tonight's show is running a little bit long. If you still want to call in, feel free to do so. As for your question, no, because you're expecting something different. That's exciting. It is. Different can be good. I'm not that afraid of change when it comes to something like this. It's one of those situations where, okay, new captain at the wheel. Let's see where they take us. Got a couple new subscribers I want to tell you guys about before I leave you here tonight. If you still want to call the show, you can do so. 434-710-4900. 434-710-4900. Lee Valiant subscribed to us. The Lee Valiant subscribed to us. So thank you very much, Lee, for doing that. I very much appreciate it. And then, of course, the new guy in the chat room tonight, we thank you for joining us. Mouse Jones. Thank you very much for subscribing to us here. on the From Pillar to Post channel. Another guy that we had join us here. I'm going to butcher this last name. Jackson Herod. Thank you for subscribing to us. We very much appreciate it here on the From Pillar to Post YouTube channel. Brad Lowe, thank you very much for subscribing to us here within the last few days. We very much appreciate it here. And if you haven't done so yet, click that like button on this video. That helps us out a lot. And more importantly, click the subscribe button. Last subscription that we have to tell you about here tonight, Mr. Brian Walker, thank you so much for subscribing to here on the From Pillar to Post YouTube channel. I very much appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate every one of you who subscribes to me on YouTube, and everybody that I'll subscribe when you change Vince to Ole Anderson. Well, the original GIF for that was Zelda, or not Zelda, Link. So I changed it to Vince. Maybe I'll change it for next week. Who knows? Who knows what I'll change it to? I could change it to Chappie taking a dive. I could change it to that. No one wants to see that, though. But thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed within the last 3 or 4 days. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you who watched that video the other night. Everybody who commented on the video, whether it was a good or bad comment, I don't care. I very much appreciate everybody. It's gotten over 460 views so far. I know that doesn't seem like a lot compared to most YouTubers, but I woke up the next morning after doing that, and I was flattered at the numbers. I was jaw dropped. Didn't realize it was going to catch that much attention. So, which a lot of people are going, you just did that for views and clickbait. I'm a YouTuber. Hello? Fuck. Am I going to make any money off of it? No, because why? YouTube demonetized it. So there. I got a review in there. It requested for him to give me my damn monetization back. Anyway. That's it for this edition of the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show. I hope to see you there, everybody there at the Sportatorium this Saturday. It's one of those situations where I believe the wrestlers, and along with, I'll say it, Danny and Jeff and the wrestlers and tech crew, girls who work the concession stand. I'll throw those ladies in there because they work hard. They were busting their ass at BattleCade, that's for sure. Everybody. Hell, the trainees who sweep the fucking floors. They deserve your attendance this Saturday night. They deserve for you to have, they deserve your money this weekend. Come to Gibsonville. Show your support for this promotion. They need it. They deserve it. They want it. They want your support. I mean, they give them a chance, guys. It's not over for them. Despite what some people have been saying, it's not over yet. I have a feeling it's just beginning. I'm going to play a couple more commercials here for you, and then our outro theme is going to hit. I'd like to thank everybody who watched and listened in the chat room tonight. Thank you for everybody who is new to us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the first time. If you're listening to this on the archive, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and, of course, share. Hell, this show and this promotion is the reason why I'm still on YouTube. I'll tell you that right now. They're the reason why I still podcast. Hell, I'll go one step further. This CWF is the reason why I still watch wrestling. My name is Joe White, and we'll see you at the Sportatorium. Good night, everybody.
Walt Disney Pictures invites you to the party of the year, the 50th birthday celebration of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And you can only see it at a theater near you.
It's now or never.
Why, everyone will be there. You'll meet Happy, Dopey, Doc, Bashful, Grumpy, Sleepy, and Sneezy, too. The 50th birthday of Walt Disney's classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's the party you won't want to miss. Rated G.
Opening tomorrow around the world and at a theater near you.
Wait right there. I gotta take a break from all this.
And a whole lot more. More.
Want a whole lot more? You can get a Wild Puff Lump, free with 200 proofs of purchase from Kool-Aid Drink Mix.
Don't monkey around.
Details in the coupon section of July 19th Sunday newspaper.
You can? You can.
Fun.
I can't bear it.
Let's make breakfast. Okay. How?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Follow us. We're Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bakers.
We're Cinnamon Toast Crunch Tasters.
We use the finest ingredients and sprinkles of real cinnamon and sugar for a special homemade taste.
Part of this nutritious breakfast.
Making homemade taste.
We bake breakfast.
In the Cinnamon Toast
Crunch.
A new racing team is shifting into gear. Mask.
Something's fishy. Better get down there. Meteor, convert and stand by.
It's a two-car race here at the Mask National.
Wait! Manta's forcing Razorback into a wall. It's Phantom! Convert Razorback. Little Meteor.
Vehicles each sold separately with a figure.
Time to run.
Mask, where illusion is the ultimate weapon. Mask, Meteor, Razorback, and Manta each sold separately. New from Kenner.
I've been waiting for you. Let's go.
Coming up at 8, the mighty Autobots battle the evil Decepticons on the Transformers. Then take a ride into a rainbow world of magic with My Little Pony and friends. But now, have some furry fun with Tom and Jerry. Coming up next on Channel 13.
Bye, kids.
Goodbye. Say goodbye, Le Chiquame.
Mama, la chic me.
Goodbye, farewell.